Alex Lofgren and Emily Henkel were experienced outdoor lovers who often explored remote landscapes together. And in early April 2021, they planned a short camping trip to Death Valley, packing enough water, food, and supplies to last at least a day. On April 3rd, they left Helena, California, expecting a simple getaway into nature. But by the next day, their trip turned into a life-changing ordeal. Alex was known for venturing far off the beaten path, and Emily had grown comfortable following him into isolated terrain. That morning, they planned to explore a few popular locations before camping somewhere under the open desert sky, without choosing a specific campground, just a general area. Earlier that day, a park ranger suggested a remote spot deep inside the park, accessible only by a rugged backcountry road, and the idea immediately appealed to them. The route led them onto Gold Valley Road, an unpaved and rocky path, but they felt confident driving their Subaru Forester, built for rough terrain. As they moved deeper into Death Valley, the environment became harsher and more intense, revealing vast salt flats, towering mountains, scorched dunes, and brutal silence. A land of extreme heat and little mercy. Around 5:30 p.m., the loud pops shattered the stillness, and when they stopped to check, they discovered both passenger side tires had been destroyed by a sharp rock. With only one spare tire, no cell service, and no traffic, they were stranded about 22 miles from the nearest paved road, with no shade and no visible water source. Remaining calm, they reviewed maps and guidebooks that night, packed a day pack with water, tuna pouches, a survival kit, and essentials, and slept in their vehicle. At 4 a.m., they made a critical decision to head toward Mormon Point via a recognized trail instead of retracing the long road back. Before leaving, they placed a handwritten note inside the Subaru stating they had the flat tires and were heading to Mormon Point with 3 days of water, and they arranged rocks into a large arrow pointing in their direction of travel. Under moonlight, they began walking, even pausing to build another arrow along the trail. Around 8 a.m., they found a geocache containing a logbook, reassuring them that others had used the trail before. But the hike soon grew dangerous as the path narrowed into a slot canyon with steep drops and jagged rocks. Reading the logbook, they noticed mention of a 70-foot waterfall, and about a mile later they reached it, only to realize the descent required climbing gear they didn't have. After failing to find an alternate route, Alex attempted to climb down, carefully testing footholds while Emily urged him to move slowly. Eventually, the rock face offered no more holds, and Alex said he would climb back up. But moments later, he shouted that he had lost his grip and fell 70 feet down the cliff, disappearing from sight. Emily screamed in horror, but heard Alex calling out, still alive, and urging her to get help. Remembering a narrow crevice on the opposite side of the canyon, Emily made the agonizing decision to descend herself, pressing her body between the rock walls and inching downward until she ran out of handholds. Dropped her backpack and let go. She landed hard, breaking her ankle instantly, but forced herself upright and limped toward Alex, only to discover his injuries were fatal. Alex died there in the canyon on Easter Sunday, April 4, 2021. Emily was now alone, injured, and trapped on a narrow ledge halfway down the canyon, with another 100-foot drop below making escape impossible. She survived the night in darkness and shock, and when morning came, she took inventory of her supplies, using a Mylar emergency blanket to build shelter and a solar charger to keep her phone alive, so she could journal daily, repeating the words, "We will be rescued," each afternoon. Intense sunlight flooded the ledge, forcing her to hide in a shallow nook for hours. Battling dehydration, heat, pain, and grief, a small trickle of water from the waterfall became her lifeline, as she built a tiny dam to collect it and soaked her clothes to cool her body. The Mylar blanket tore repeatedly, and she spent hours each day repairing it with bandages from her kit. Meanwhile, search crews combed Death Valley, and on April 7th they found Alex's backcountry log entry, which led them to Gold Valley Road, where they discovered the abandoned Subaru and the note pointing toward Mormon Point. On April 8th, Emily heard a helicopter and waved her reflective blanket until it finally noticed her, later sending a drone to confirm her condition. The following morning, a Navy search and rescue team arrived, and after a difficult hoist operation through the narrow canyon, they reached Emily and lifted her to safety. She was flown to a hospital for emergency surgery on her shattered ankle, and doctors later said keeping her shoe on likely saved her foot. After recovering, Emily returned home to Ohio, having survived one of the harshest environments on Earth. In Alex's memory, The Alexander Lofgren Veterans and Parks Act was passed in December 2021, granting free lifetime access to national parks for veterans and Gold Star families, standing as a lasting tribute to a man who loved the land and a woman whose will to survive proved unbreakable. If this true story moved you, please like the video, subscribe for more real survival stories, and comment below with your thoughts.